See, this is my life. It always will be. There's nothing else. Just us. And the cameras. And those wonderful people out there in the dark.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Out There in the Dark. As always, my name's Tom Alexander, and with me is AZ Majid.
What do you mean by as always?
I don't know.
Would you expect somehow, or do you think we expect that your name will change?
You know, maybe we should try that.
Okay, we should try anything at this point.
Because we desperately try to hang on to our listenership.
Yes, we want some listeners, more listeners. Do we want more? I mean, that's a good question. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
But just the right kind of listeners. I don't want...
No, I want tons. I want to sell ads.
What
I
if
want to
we-
make
what if-
some
what if we-
goddamn money off this.
What if we suddenly got big with like the MAGA crowd?
Great. Maybe we can convince them to stop being morons.
Yeah, that's going to work.
Yeah, that's going to work.
That approach is going to work. I say, you know what? I think this Trump guy is a little misunderstood. That's my cry out to the MAGA crowd. No. Okay. Anyway,
so
as you can tell, it's a freewheeling episode.
yeah, we're doing kind of a freewheeling. Actually, we should call it that. We're just going to
freewheeling-
talk about stuff that we've seen lately.
Bob Dylan.
Shows. Bob Dylan.
Sorry.
We already covered that in the Oscar episode.
Yeah, we're going to just catch up with what we've seen recently.
TV and movies. So,
Fun.
All
right.
So I guess one that...
Well, you're going to tell us a little bit first about your fancy schmancy lifestyle with your Cannes Film Festival.
Well, I didn't go to the Cannes Film Festival.
Not this year, but you've been before.
Like 10 years ago, maybe. But
sorry, I didn't. I guess you're a loser. I guess is what you're trying to say. Yeah.
No argument.
Okay.
But yeah, for those who don't know, the Cannes Film Festival is almost wrapping up, and it was pretty cool. I saw a couple of films that I thought were interesting. I think probably the best one I got to see was an Iraqi film called The President's Cake, and this is about how in the 90s, when Saddam Hussein was the ruler, the rule was that everyone had to celebrate his birthday by making, and so at the school,
right,
somebody has to bake a cake.
It's a national holiday.
It's a national holiday. Everyone has to celebrate, even though there's sanctions on and nobody has any money and people are starving.
Right.
So and then
Sounds amazing.
This poor little girl is directed to bake a cake for the school, and all these crazy adventures ensue that are sometimes funny, sometimes tragic, sometimes pretty disturbing. And the film is done in kind of a style like, the new wave of Iranian films a few years ago.
Right.
With people like Kiarostami and Makhmalbaf. It has, and of course, for a lot of those films, they had wonderful child actors. And the child actors in this film are unbelievable.
Yeah, I don't know how they're amazing.
I know.
Like Where's the Friend's Home and all the all of them did movies with kids, right?
Yeah,
The White Balloon, right? By Jafar, right? Panay, right?
Who I think might win the Palme d'Or this year.
Really?
Yeah.
What's his movie this year?
It's called It Was Just an Accident. And I
yes.
don't know a lot about it,
Right, I heard of it.
But it's the front runner for probably winning the big prize.
He's brilliant. I love him.
Yeah.
Have you seen The White Balloon?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, kids.
Yeah. So that, that's one I saw that I liked. Another one was Richard Linklater's new film, Nouvelle Vague.
Yeah, that looks amazing to me.
Which is basically about the making of Breathless.
Yeah.
And not really a well-known cast at all. And it's shot in black and white, and it's I found it a very great distillation of the attitudes of the French New Wave and the attitudes of somebody like Jean-Luc Godard and his cast. It seemed to live in like a bubble for me.
Right.
So it didn't have the vibrancy of... One thing I kept thinking about was, and this is a completely different film in a way, was Dazed and Confused, which also perfectly distillates a certain time period and certain types of characters.
Right.
Like when I first saw Dazed and Confused when I was younger, that was like, wow, that is the most perfect look at my teenage years I have ever seen in a movie.
It's funny. I think they were my teenage years.
They were everybody's teenage years, but still.
No, but actually they were my teenage years.
I think you were Matthew McConaughey. Yeah.
Well, it was my time period, 70s, right?
Yeah. But I was in Oshawa, so it didn't change from the 70s.
Yeah.
There was no time stopped.
Yeah, that's right. It's like it's been studied scientifically, I think.
So he does Linklater does an incredible job with that. And the actor who plays Jean-Luc Godard is terrific. I mean, the whole cast is great.
It sounds like amazing, but who knows? It could go either way, I guess.
Yeah.
But you liked it, right?
Yeah, I did like it.
Right.
You know, not as much as many Linklaters, but it was definitely an interesting film. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Anything else of note?
Not really. I didn't get a chance to see much else.
I saw that Robert De Niro got like a lifetime achievement certificate of some kind.
Yeah, Denzel Washington got a surprise honorary Palme d'Or.
But Robert De Niro's he used his time to really talk about like Trump and how bad everything is here and stuff. And it was a pretty powerful speech actually. And everybody was he was talking to the international community. I don't know. I'm always like I don't want to come across as overly cynical, but it's kind of like if you're not sort of dancing, just have a seat. You know what I mean? Like,
well, De Niro's done that many times.
I know.
Even from the first term, he was very critical publicly about Trump, and not mincing his words.
No, I know. He's always done that, but it's like I don't know.
Trump kind of
thing. But it's like I equally have problems with him doing that. You know?
Well, as we can see, it wasn't not that effective.
Yeah, exactly.
If there's one thing we learned,
is
that the Democrats aren't doing a great job of getting the celebrity endorsements to have much of an effect.
You know, all people see is like, oh, some rich Hollywood actor, you know. So, like, they don't care. People don't care about that shit at all.
Well,
right?
It just reinforces for the mega heads that, you know,
that
they're all elitists.
They're outside of that whole thing, right? Yeah. Whereas you can get inside Mar-a-Lago, maybe. If you buy his meme coin,
the
whatever.
Dems were so excited about, oh my God, we got Beyonce at Kamala Harris's thing, and it's like nobody gave a shit.
Nobody gave a fucking shit about that.
Yeah.
It was funny because everybody got all riled up, even me, right, with her huge crowds and her
sure,
and all that stuff. But it was so. In retrospect, it was so. We were in our own bubble, right? Yeah. And we really didn't see. I remember a couple of friends of mine said to me before the election, the American election. I said, "Oh, for sure, Kamala's going to win," and they both went, "Really?" And I went, "Like, are you serious?" But then I was like, "Oh, these guys actually work with people." You know what I mean? not like surround themselves with like elite film nerds. You know,
we don't know anything.
Yeah.
That's why we do this.
Yeah, exactly. Just a way to tick down the clock, basically. Yeah. Just waiting for death now, Tom.
There was one other film that I quite liked, and I'm gonna get the title wrong. It's called "Put Your Soul in Your Hand While You Walk."
Oh yeah, I've heard of that.
Yeah, and that was quite powerful. I didn't think it fully worked the way it wanted to.
Yeah,
but it was so tragic. That? I'm sorry, I cannot remember the name of the filmmaker, but for those who aren't familiar with it, it was a first-hand account. The filmmaker, calling her from places like Paris and Montreal and London, reaches out to this 24-year-old photojournalist, this young woman, who talks directly about what's happening in Gaza. She lives in Gaza. She's Palestinian.
That's right.
And it's...
What's it called again? Put your
soul
put
in your hand as you walk,
right.
Or something like that. Sorry about this. I don't mean to get it wrong. I just thought of it now. And but the big news about the film was that only shortly after they finished shooting, and 2 days after the film was accepted into the Cannes Film Festival,
she was killed.
Her and her entire family were killed. Yeah.
Yes, I did hear about her name is Sepide.
Yeah.
Farsi.
Yeah.
Sepide.
So hopefully that film will get some.
And she also shot it.
Yeah. Well, when you watch it, it's basically done on an iPhone. The whole film.
Wow. Did you see it?
Yeah.
And it's great, right?
Yeah. Not great. My only problem with it, and I don't mean to be critical about, contemporary films in this way that are independent and that,
right.
I could be working with. But the visuals of it, because it's shot on an iPhone,
they're really bad.
They get pretty hard because she's shooting the photojournalist on a Zoom call. So her iPhone is pointed at the monitor of her computer. So you're getting double layers of electronic, separation, right?
Right. Okay.
Things
so
like that.
Technical stuff like that.
Yeah. It's just hard. I mean, watching it on a big screen could be challenging, I would think.
Okay.
But, I mean, it's pretty vitally important stuff.
Yeah. I want to see that one for sure.
Yeah.
All right.
So, what about you? What do you see?
Farewell to Cannes.
Yeah. Goodbye.
Right. Bye.
People.
Goodbye, you naked women on the beach.
Okay. Well, I again,
every year
I wasn't there, so
every year there's like a whole scandal about somebody getting naked on the beach. You don't know that about Cannes?
This year the scandal was a palm tree fell on somebody.
It's not as sexy, no.
No.
Yeah. Okay, so I mean, in terms of Cannes Film Festival, that's done. But now we can talk about movies. So in terms of movies, I've seen. Let's break this down into movies in theaters.
Yeah.
Movies at home, and TV at home.
Oh boy, 3 categories
like that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Door number 1.
Yeah, exactly. Always choose door number. Always change your. Do you know that whole thing about the Monty Hall equation? Do you know that?
I've heard of this one. Yeah, I don't know it.
It's like, okay, I'm not going to go into it now, but you know what? Look it up. Google it.
Okay.
So the first thing is, I saw the movie The Shrouds, the new David Cronenberg film.
So I have not seen yet.
And I think it's pretty much done. Like it got no buzz at all and very limited, release. Nobody really talked about it. I haven't seen anything about it really.
It premiered at Cannes last year.
Yeah. Okay. And here's the thing, like it's worth seeing for sure. It's a very odd movie. I have to say it's really odd. And to a certain extent I can't say for sure whether this was just bad directing or not. But you remember Crash, right? Mm-hmm. Crash had a feeling to it that even if I love Crash, I think it's a great movie, but I never want to see it. It puts you in a bad place. I don't know, like in a depressed state or something, right?
Yeah, Crash I had a lot of problems with. I remember the first time I saw it and I didn't really like it, but then it was so acclaimed and and even years later it was still talked about. It's still being talked about.
Yeah.
That I've seen it now 3 times because I keep going back to it to see what I missed. And I cannot get into it.
Well, this is the thing. Like, this is the same thing with The Shrouds, right? And it's got a similar feeling where it's like everything in it is interesting. And there's, but there's something else going on there that I wasn't really quite able to click with or something. So, yeah, I don't know. It wasn't like, it was a complicated response on my part. I would say I liked it, but I'd have to see it again maybe. But do I want to see it again? So probably I'm going to leave it at maybe it's pretty good, but it had interesting ideas. It had interesting ideas in it for sure.
Yeah.
And that's one thing about Cronenberg.
I'll see it at home for sure.
Yeah. Cronenberg always, you can have a long conversation about a Cronenberg movie, anytime. So,
I got a little obsessed with 1980s Cronenberg. So I was revisiting films like The Brood, The Fly, Dead Ringers, and my favorite is Videodrome.
Yeah, Videodrome was fantastic.
Just watching these a couple times and was blown away by how they hold up. The Brood I'm iffy on, but the other...
I haven't seen The Brood. I saw it once when I was a kid, but I don't barely remember it.
Making. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I hear. I've seen Scanners as well.
Yeah, Scanners is a lot of fun.
Yeah, very fun. And one that I saw by him, actually, that scared. I couldn't watch the whole thing. Was Shivers.
Yeah,
because it's so violent too.
It was on TV when I was a kid.
Yeah,
but I don't remember much about it.
Ugh.
But I remember it being really icky.
Yeah, it's icky is the word. Anyway, that's me. What about you? What's something you saw?
Well, yeah. One movie in theaters that I really liked a lot was Sinners, the Ryan Coogler film. To me, I'm sure we're all familiar with it. It was a huge hit and a massive campaign. And it was kind of like a throwback to the big budget Hollywood monster movies, but writ so large. It's pretty epic. It takes place in the 30s, which I love the whole period detail. Michael B. Jordan was great. But what I really liked about it was the way it incorporated blues music from the 30s. There's this young actor who plays a blues musician. He's terrific. I forget his name, and he's not really well known. But the whole idea is that somehow this music calls forth spirits that this community of vampires wants to latch onto in some way, and I thought that was really interesting. And then it turns into just a big, like, you know, like the best episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer you've ever seen by the end, with, you know,
Right.
massacring all these crazy zombies. Lots of fun. But then it comes back at the end. If you go see it in a theater, don't leave before this credits start, because there's this lengthy coda that comes in that's really interesting and makes the whole idea of how these vampires stick with this music and how it brings them some kind of soulful meaning. I thought it was great.
That's well said. Like, you're right about a lot of that. I saw the movie. I saw it yesterday. I don't know. I was more half and half on it. I think there's some really impressive stuff in there about Black history that was really good. I like the time period that it was done in, right? There was a lot of ideas in it.
Sure.
The problem for me was there were too many ideas, and the ideas didn't weave together for me. Because the vampire narrative kind of, to me, I would have preferred it without the vampire. The metaphor
I find
the metaphor is already, I think, very tired. It's been overused. It's been used for race before. Right. But
it's weird in this one too, because it's like it starts off because the first few vampires are white and they're coming to this juke joint that the twin brothers have put together. So it's almost like the vampires are white and the victims are going to be black. But then it gets all kind of melded in as the vampires keep turning other people in the juke joint.
You're right. And that was one of those interesting ideas that the leader of the vampires, the white guy, is Irish, actually, and there's quite a bit about Irish music. There's a musical number done in a kind of Lord of the Dance style, right? With vampires dancing and stuff like that, and and that was interesting that it wasn't. They were connecting the Irish experience, and music, because they even talk about the three kinds of music at the beginning, and one of them was Irish folk music, right? And there's something about that. It's not fully clear to me what the connection there is, but I think it has something to do with the fact that there's, a shared kind of history there, and yet there's also a kind of deep racism even within that community, right? And I think what was interesting about that, you're right. In this movie, the use of the vampire metaphor was a little more nuanced, right? Because it wasn't just, it wasn't just, these are the racists, because you have the KKK guys, right? And they're more like, they come in with all that liberal talking stuff, like, hey, we just love music, and they're like, there ain't no such thing as, whatever. They're already talking like the way 60s radicals or liberals would talk, and that they're making the point that, but in the end, these guys are not your friends either, right? And that's a very get out kind of thing.
That's right. And one of the ways they try to convince the black characters like Michael B. Jordan and Delroy Lindo is by saying, look, you're living a life here that you're constantly being victimized by
that was my
whites.
favorite line.
And if you join us, we're all equal. And what was interesting is that, and I hadn't seen this in a vampire movie before, the idea that all these vampires share the same consciousness.
Yeah, which I thought was kind of half baked. But I understand. Again, this is my problem with the movie. Not the ideas. I think the ideas are really interesting. You could make 5 movies out of something like this, right? It's not even that. My criticism of movies like this one, and it's a kind of a new genre that I see a little bit more and more happening, which is to kind of weave together disparate elements from genres and from history
Yeah.
and from myth and all this stuff, and I like it. It's an interesting thing to do, but I worry about it because it also seems to be glorifying things and deglorifying things in a weird way, right? Like it reminded me a little bit of Killers of the Flower Moon too, in its sort of time period and even its like look a little bit. But the big differences between those two movies are Killers of the Flower Moon is Scorsese doesn't have that style, right? He's very realist. He's a realist filmmaker, right? Like he can be very stylish in his realism, but he's realistic essentially, right?
Yeah. I mean, Sinners, the style is way over the top with...
The first half an hour was great. I thought, oh, this is going to be amazing. For the first like 40 minutes, it really went sour for me when it went for the dusk to dawn kind of thing, right? Even though I don't disagree that the ideas were good. I just don't think that they should have gone with a couple of those and just gone straight for that. Because there was also that really interesting stuff about, the mulatto woman, right? And her history. I would have liked to see a whole movie about that.
Yeah.
Because she was just an interesting character, but she's the first one who goes out and bridges that kind of gap between them.
Or the relationship between the musician and his father, who's the preacher.
That would have been a great movie.
That's all really like...
Yeah, but that that's two scenes in the movie.
That's two scenes, exactly.
Yeah. And it's like, that's my problem with Sinners. I think it's definitely worth watching. It's weirdly a lot of fun, but that also kind of bothered me because it's like, don't turn this into fun.
Well, at the end of the day, it's just a big, splashy, gory vampire horror movie.
Yeah.
It's not scary. It's not like...
No, and it's also like,
Hereditary
I have to
scary.
say, my big moment at the end was like, come on, man, how dumb are these vampires? They know they see the sun is coming out, and they run out anyway.
Yeah.
Idiots.
That's true.
Go back into your these are some dumb vampires. Yeah, that's the one thing I thought.
Nobody in Buffy would ever do that.
No.
So, but yeah. And the only other thing I've seen in theaters was Thunderbolts. I know. So I've got a little side hobby where I collect comic books, and I try to keep on top of what's going on with movies and TV shows, because the value of comic books, for some stupid reason, seems to rise and fall based on the positive or negative buzz. And Thunderbolts, as you may have heard, a lot of critics have said this is the best Marvel movie in years, and they're right.
Really?
Which is not saying much, because every Marvel movie for the last 5 or 6 years has been garbage. Literal. The only one that wasn't garbage, which was also directed by Ryan Coogler, was the Black Panther sequel. It was pretty good. But, yeah. Well, whatever.
Yeah.
So, but Thunderbolts is forgettable. I mean, it's a bunch of...
But you're saying not bad, right?
It's not bad. I mean, take your kids. It's fun.
Take your kids.
Yeah. Florence Pugh is really good. I'll say that.
All right.
That's about as good as it gets.
Okay, well, I mean, I guess the big thing we wanted to talk about was the thing that I got super obsessed with, and I wrote to you and said we should really do an episode on this show because it's very filmic, and we started talking about it.
And I hadn't seen any of it before, so
right, so you watched the whole thing.
Yeah.
And that's Nathan Fielder's The Rehearsal, right? So I don't know, for people who might not know Nathan Fielder, he did a show prior to this called Nathan for You, which was was on for a few years, I think, or at least a couple of years. And I think it was an MTV thing. And it was basically Nathan, who's this very deadpan guy, kind of boyish in a weird way.
Yeah.
Right?
Awkward,
Both boyish
crazy.
and mature at the same time. Like a gifted child, right? Yeah, as an adult. And in that show, he would go around trying to help businesses with these absolutely insane ideas, and then he would make them happen, which was the insane part. And in The Rehearsal, what he does, and it's kind of hard to explain quickly, but basically he takes there's 2 seasons, so we're almost at the end of season 2 now. It's still dropping as we record this, but in the first season, it was all about. He wanted to basically. He says, I'm an awkward guy. I have trouble with people, or I'm off-putting or whatever. And he wants to help people, who have problems, social problems or problems talking to people or saying what they want to say, and he wants to give them a rehearsal to do it. So, but he goes so far, it becomes a kind of madness almost, right? Where he's rebuilding, like, you remember the very first guy he talks to, the guy who doesn't want to admit about the trivia thing.
Yeah.
So he at first you see Nathan go into this guy's apartment and talk to him. Then later it's revealed that he had actually built a replica of this guy's apartment, and he had sent these workers in
His maintenance people
to take pictures of his whatever, and he built an exact replica, and then he got somebody to play him.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? He went through rehearsals just before he even did the opening where he met the guy.
Yeah.
Right? That's just a kind of an Escher-like, drawing of what the show is like. I mean, it's just very engrossing because you're watching a guy who's obsessed and driven to fulfill that compulsion, right?
So the main thrust of the first season is he meets it's basically people will come to him and say, I want you to solve this problem and let me do these rehearsals. So he meets this woman who's in her early 40s, but she wants to have kids and meet Mr. Right and have build a life that she wants in this family structure that she doesn't have. So, and she would adopt a child and then meet someone, get married and all this stuff. So Fielder builds her dream house in real life.
Yeah.
With a little garden for farming vegetables.
Because she wants to farm.
She wants to be
And they
self-sustaining.
buy vegetables at one point and thread them through so she can go pick them. Yeah.
But she's basically rehearsing being a parent. And so not only do they have these child actors coming in, but they accelerate their ages and swap them out with. So one day your kid's 5 years old, and then the next day your kid's 8 years old.
Exactly, because it's a limited time. It's like a 30-day thing or something.
Yeah.
He does the math and says, your child will grow, every 5 days or whatever, right? And then they also couldn't have child actors
being there all the time
because of union rules. So they had to do this they had to have a fake baby in the crib, right?
Usually at night.
But then they had a person who was next to the real baby, and they would wake up the real baby.
I guess you watch it with the ethical thought that this is not a good way to treat these children, and there's a whole subplot where one of the child actors has a single mom for a parent.
Yeah.
And he bonds so much with Fielder that he thinks of Fielder as his real dad.
Yeah, it's dealt with in the it's like
and it breaks the kid's heart.
Yeah.
When this thing all wraps up, and one of the funniest parts too is that she finally does meet this guy, who she thinks she wants to build a life with, and they're both very religious, by the way, in the most cringy way.
Yeah, they're
possible.
super cringy.
She's really fundamentalist, and this guy turns out to be this numerology nut. But anyhow, and then
that guy was hilarious.
So then he's like, yeah, I'll try staying over at your place tonight. He goes, okay, well, we'll pretend to be parents together. And he's like, yeah, that's cool. He goes, well, it's going to be your night for the baby. He's like, yeah, that's cool. After 2 wake-ups by the robot baby, by the way, he's like, fuck this.
He just
bolts in the middle of the night.
This guy's like, oh, fuck, man, no.
It's hard.
Yeah.
So... But yeah, I mean, we talked about how Fielder seems to be...
Then Fielder becomes her husband.
Right, becomes her fake husband.
Yeah, which is when the show gets really vertigo weird almost, right? Because he enters into his own thing. And, and then it's he gets very self-reflective, right? And he has to... he starts the Fielder School for Actors so that people can learn how to act in his scenes the way he wants them to, right?
And the Fielder method is basically you're researching these people and you follow them around. So in the second season, it's primarily around Fielder decides that he's going to be obsessed with airplane crashes, and he wants to figure out why airplanes crash, which is mostly pilot error. And then he figures out that a lot of it might have to do with the relationship between the captain and the first officer.
Right, because he does this whole thing where he shows so many times the co-pilot won't speak up.
Yeah.
Won't even though they know they're going to crash.
So they have
right?
the transcripts of the actual conversations that before a crash, and he hires actors to play them out.
Exactly. And he rebuilds the entire airport.
Yeah.
In a hangar. It's incredible.
And then when he wants to go for a drink, he moves the recreated bar from the first episode that he created, the trivia bar, into the airport.
Yeah.
It's
like he mentions on the show quite a bit, like how much money HBO is giving him to build these sets and everything. And, you know, it's very funny in a kind of like dark way. But what I really love about it is I see this as a kind of like a show about cinema, right? Like it's really kind of, it's the inverse of what a director does, right? Mm-hmm. You're taking, instead of taking life and putting it on the screen, you're taking the screen and putting it into life.
Yeah.
Right? And that's what he's doing. And it's like bringing cinema into the everyday, like building like those elaborate sets and having actors play these parts.
And then they rehearse them over and over again with the real subjects.
Yeah.
So the real subject knows every permutation of conversation he's going to have with this difficult person.
Right, which is already a fool's gambit because obviously there's things you can never be fully aware of what is the cause and effect of anything, right? Mm-hmm. And philosophically, that's a fascinating pursuit that this guy is really trying to find a level of control that just doesn't exist, right? But he's nonetheless compelled to try to control as much of that world. And so therefore his world becomes more and more artificial, right? And then he can kind of control things, but he can never really control the people no matter how much he does it, right?
The craziest episode is when he decides he's going to become Sully, the famous Tom Hanks movie pilot, the real life pilot who landed the plane in the Hudson River.
That was nuts.
And he starts from being a baby, like he's wearing a diaper, and then the parents are giant puppets, and he's breastfeeding.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, what is wrong with you?
That was
it's
hilarious.
It's crazy funny. But yeah, there is this strange compulsion he has with having to not only control his environment to the nth degree, but all these other people's as well. And that's where the ethical dilemmas come in, like with the whole child actor thing and with the mom. You see how it's a kind of manipulation, and that you know,
well,
like you can't replicate raising a child. You can't practice. You can't rehearse for being a parent.
No, that's the whole point. Right? I think you know.
Yeah.
But it's like he's and this is really interesting because I mean, you know, even if you read stuff about this, like, you know, there's a lot of people who don't like him, right? Or find him likable but creepy. Like Tina was like, I can't. He gives me the creeps, right? And it was like, okay, I get that, you know, because there is something unnerving about this show, right? Do you remember that movie? It reminds me a little bit of that movie, Synecdoche, New York.
Yeah, great movie.
Like,
but that's true. Yeah,
it's almost
he's recreating this whole, and he can't stop.
He can't stop, and he becomes the maid at one point. Remember the Philip Seymour Hoffman in that movie?
Yeah, you know what? You're right. This is the rehearsal is very Charlie Kaufman-esque.
It is Kaufman-esque
adaptation, and I hadn't thought of that.
Yeah. So it reminds me of that, and it also reminds me of this book I read called Remainder, which was like an avant-garde book because this friend of mine who recommended it, and it was very similar about a guy who has an accident, you know, something falls on his head while he's walking, and then he's after that he wants to recreate it constantly, so he does the same thing, hires actors, all that whole thing, right? And then whatever. But this is that whole idea of compulsion to repeat is a Freudian concept, right? Compulsion to repeat is like you keep and we do this in our own lives because you do some, let's say, relationships, right? Like you get into relationships, you may have one, you may have 10, right? But okay, you find yourself in a similar place every single time, and you're like, well, wait a minute, I said I was never going to do this again, right? But here I am again,
my
right?
life you just described. But
well, that's everybody's life to some extent, right? So this compulsion to repeat is something we all have in varying degrees, right? A need to do, and it's about going over the ground like a detective, like Scotty in Vertigo, right?
Right.
Trying to find like what's caused this, you know, this cycle to continue like this, right? And so it's similar to that. But in a way, it's trying to get what's inside out, and that's why I think it's brilliant. And in a way, like I said, it's like the inverse of what a film director would do, right? Right. I think it's kind of like a brilliant show, to be honest.
I agree.
Yeah.
I was amazed. I was surprised. I'd heard of it before, but never felt compelled to watch it. And from the first episode, I was hooked. I was like, okay, this is just, bananas.
There's nothing like it on TV.
Yeah.
Like I've never seen anything like it.
And I remember the first episode or so, I kept thinking to myself, like, is this guy on the spectrum? Because he is so awkward and again, those cycles. He did
seem like a high functioning.
And then, as you watch the second season, he starts getting involved in. He finds out that a particular congressman who is on the aviation board is also a part of this autism awareness board or something.
Sorry, I'm not laughing at that. I'm laughing at that he built that whole Congress. He built a whole fake Congress, right? And has like everybody. Anyway.
And then he meets people who work in autism support who say, "We love your show. Like your show is huge within the autism community."
Yeah,
and he seems flummoxed by it.
Yeah,
even though it makes perfect sense.
Well, I have a feeling, but we talked a little bit about this before, but it's like I think one of the fascinating thing, what makes it not just a reality show, right, is again this depth of ideas in it, like the idea that who's Nathan, right? Mm-hmm. Like, we accept him for who he is, but we don't know who this guy is. And since he's getting into such weird personal areas, like with people and himself and stuff, you just don't know, though. Is he Andy Kaufman? You know what I mean? Yeah. Is he like, when he says, these are my 3 sons I adopted, and it's 3, 30-year-old black guys, right? Okay, is he a performance artist on that level, right? I think the fact that it's impossible to know, right? Because he keeps a persona and that's the only persona you see. You don't see him on talk shows and stuff, right?
That's true.
But
it reflects the characters as well, right? The characters how are they performing? Like, for example, the fake wife, who wants to be a mother. He confronts her finally because when he's not there, she's just doing nothing.
Right.
She's not looking after the kids. She's not farming. And she's not doing her own home business that she only does when he's there.
Right.
And so what persona is she inhabiting? Like, you really don't want this.
No, but it's
and
a question.
How are you ever going to be a parent?
I think what the show, to me anyway, what it really highlights, and this is why I don't think it's unethical, right? I don't think he's trying to do a gotcha with anybody.
No.
Right? I think
it's not a prank show.
No, but what gets revealed often with these characters is their own unconscious compulsion, right? Like, this is obviously a woman who hasn't been able to get things together in her life because she's, she says she wants to do certain things, but then she doesn't do them, right? And that could be like an ADHD thing. Who knows, right? Yeah. No judgment. I'm just saying that's a sign of something that there's a consciousness split, right? There's what you're saying you want, but then there's what you're doing. And you can, through his process, you kind of see it, right?
Yeah.
You see that, wait a minute, you're not doing what you said you're doing.
Well,
right?
A perfect example of that was the pilot in the second season, who confesses to having been banned and kicked off of multiple dating apps.
That's right.
And he has no idea why.
No
and
awareness.
Fielder is like, no idea?
Yeah.
And he's like, no, I have no idea. And it's like ridiculous.
Well, this is it, the awareness thing.
And then he's in the pilot, he's piloting with a female first officer. And you can see exactly why he got kicked off of every dating app.
Yeah, just totally inappropriate. And one of the, I don't know, one of the best things about season 2 is that he for a few episodes he sort of focuses on this one co-pilot who's very shy, right? Like, he could be on the spectrum too, like very, very, very shy, like almost painfully shy,
very painfully.
And nerdy, and is not socially, like, just awkward. And he does this whole thing with him where one of the ways he gets him to, like, feel more confidence in asking a girl out is he has this whole crew of actors dressed like him and repeat everything he says right after he said, and whatever he does right after, like right. So he goes on this fake date, for example, with this group, and there's a fake actress playing the date. And he'll just say like, "Oh yeah, I want, I like that," and then, "Oh yeah, I like that." They'll all repeat it, right? Yeah. And it's both like, wow, that is fucking weird, and also like, I wonder what that feels like to have that many people around you repeating that. Like, how would that make you feel?
The right? idea that it would make him feel more confident because you're with a group. But it doesn't seem to work.
No. But I like that too.
When he does go on the date, it goes okay, but not.
Well, he kisses her, but he kisses her on the cheek. Yeah. But that's the guy. This is a borderline incel guy, right? Yeah. So, I still think he makes good progress, right? With the real, because remember the real girl, like one of the actors says that she likes him, right? So, yeah. But that's the thing. I think there are so many layers of humanity in the show too. Like he is really trying to help that guy come out of his shell for the larger purpose of actually, he thinks this will help stop planes from crashing, right?
Right.
That's his goal on this whole show.
So if he's more confident and more relatable to other people,
it's like,
because this captain can't
hear criticism. Yeah. Well, this is the thing. He says he figures out that like the captain and the co-pilot, they don't even know each other most of the time on these flights. They're meeting for the first time in the cockpit. So they don't know anything about each other, right? And even when they get to, he builds that whole pilot's lounge so he can see what happens in there. And it's like the pilot is in there and the co-pilot is in there, but they're sitting separately and they're on their phones, right? Yeah. And so his point is that if they don't know anything about the other person, they've never met them before, they don't know what, maybe the miscommunication is just higher, right? Because you don't know what this person's character is like, what their personality is like, right? And he gives them a script and he says, okay, your name is Captain All Years and your name is Captain Doing It or something, or doing it anyway. Yeah. And he gives them 3 lines each, right? And it's basically just to remind the other person of what the basic traits of this other person are.
Yeah,
it's brilliant actually in its own way.
It's incredible,
and it's like he goes to congressmen and all that kind of stuff, right, to sell it. Yeah. I think it's it's the kind of show I can see getting more and more elaborate until it jumps the shark, probably. Right?
Yeah. I hope it keeps going for a couple more seasons.
5 seasons, and that's it.
Yeah. Because it's got to be an expensive show.
He keeps talking about that on the show, which is hilarious. He goes, "Well, HBO gave me all this money." It's like, wow. So you're just building this entire airport.
But then he cuts the corners by, having a party scene where, because they're all background extras, their union contract states they can't actually say anything. So the kid's birthday party is just people standing around mouthing. It's crazy. I mean, we both highly recommend y'all. Watch the show. In Canada, it's on Crave, and in the US, it's on HBO Max.
Yes, it's it's great, and it's very much. I'm very interested in what's happening next in cinema, right? Mm-hmm. Like, what is going to be the next thing? Because we've been just sort of like grinding our wheels now for a long time, in terms of the format, in terms of what that experience is, right? Like going to the theater, sitting in front of a screen, watching a movie, right? And it's just lost a lot of its sort of like even glamour,
it's something I've been thinking about a lot, because I'm going to just tease our next episode we're going to record. We're going to look at the films of one of the great American independent filmmakers, Jim Jarmusch.
Yep. And
I've been rewatching some of his earlier films, and it's like, nobody makes movies like this.
No.
Like a movie like Stranger Than Paradise, or even Down by Law.
Yeah.
Like indie cinema now is almost, indistinguishable from Hollywood cinema.
That's I 100% agree with you.
And it drives me crazy.
Yeah. I mean, not everybody. There are some, I guess, a few kind of more independent style, like what's his name who did Nora, right? Yeah. But but essentially you're right. And it's because the only person who's doing that kind of thing right now still is Linklater, right? Where he plays with form a lot and experiments with the kind of
Yeah,
way
Nouvelle Vague is almost experimental in a way. I didn't think it went far enough.
Right.
But
all of his movies have, an experimental form, right?
Yeah.
Like all the, what do you call those after midnight, before midnight? Like they're all like that. They're similar. They're durational pieces, right? Like
he likes to go across decades. Like Boyhood was 12 years to shoot it.
Yeah, well,
And
he's
now-
interested in duration.
Yeah.
Either he likes to keep in one spot for 1.5 hours, right? And
Right.
that's Dazed and Confused, right? Or the before midnight movies, right? It's one night.
Yeah.
Or he likes to go like 12 years to make a movie. You know what I mean? Yeah. So he's interested in that. So he's a formalist, right? Like he's in the same way that Jarmusch is a formalist. Jarmusch is really influenced by like Eastern European cinema, like by Bresson, by Dreyer.
It's very
all
much
those
the
guys.
transcendental cinema school
with some Kaurismäki brothers thrown in.
Totally. Yeah. And a lot of literature, I think, too. Like I was like I watched his first four films, sorry. And the first one, Permanent Vacation, I don't want to go, we have a whole other episode about this, but Stranger Than Paradise is basically in 3 acts, very specific acts.
Yeah.
Down by Law is also in very specific 3 acts.
Yeah.
And so is Mystery Train.
Yeah.
And then Night on Earth is 5.
Right.
So it's very compartmentalized, very formal.
Very formal, yeah. And very like we'll discuss it when we have the show, but there's a lot of transcendental Ozu kind of stuff in there, and we're not just about the stories, like something like Ghost Dog, which is obviously very influenced by Japanese cinema, right? But just the way he places his camera, when he cuts, when he doesn't. One of the things about Stranger Than Paradise, when it came out, I remember when it came out, I was in film school when it came out, and everybody was just laughing their heads off, because of those fades to black, right? Because it's like these meaningless fades to black, seemingly, right? They just kind of come out of nowhere. That was so radical at the time. People were like,
was
wow.
young, I was teenager,
Yeah.
I guess, when I saw it for the first time. I was blown away. I'd never seen anything like this before.
But it was weird enough that it only certain people would kind of get it too, right? Like it was weird enough, like as a style of filmmaking, that your everyday like moviegoer would not go to it, right? Or not like it.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing. I mean, I don't think he ever had a blockbuster, did he? I mean, Down by Law might be his biggest. I don't know.
I'd have to look at the numbers, but I would say, I mean, again, I don't like to talk about my distribution side, but I did release 2 Jarmusch films in Canada, Only Lovers Left Alive and Patterson, and
those did good, right?
Those did quite well.
Right.
Only Lovers Left Alive was it's a vampire love story with Tom Hiddleston and Tilda Swinton. I mean, it was.
I haven't seen that one. I'm gonna watch that one.
It was pretty,
this week.
Kind of a big film in a way.
I guess he's had some kind of marginal things, but he's never kind of broken into like a Nora territory, right? Like he's never had a huge.
Broken Flowers. I haven't seen that, but that was Bill Murray, right?
Oh yeah, that's great.
Oh, the one I forgot about, the zombie movie, The Dead Don't Die.
Right, I heard that was bad though. Anyway, we'll talk about it next week.
Anyway, we got a whole other thing going.
All right.
And it's
okay.
Noisy in here.
It's Django. It's my friend Django. Hello, Django. Hello. You gonna say hi to everybody out there? Very good. Okay.
Anyway, and so I guess
that's it. That's our messy, shambolic show.
Very shambolic.
Shambolic show.
We will see you out there in the dark.
Fuck off, Tom.
No.